Chapter 1151. My thoughts are all killed. Looking at Li Changgong rushing towards him like lightning, Zhang Yi recalled the information he had obtained about him. Li Changgong was Ypsilon, who had the same spatial ability as Zhang Yi. Absolute defense versus I am God's will. It depends on who is better. Li Changgong was approaching at a rapid speed, while Zhang Yi was retreating slowly. Li Changgong took a step forward, and Zhang Yi took a step back, but there was always a short pause in his movements between shots. This gave Li Changgong the opportunity to close the distance. Sniper rifles are useless against him. Abandon the gun. Zhang Yi put away the thunderbolt without hesitation, and then took out 2 white owls with both hands. At short and medium distances, the power that the white owl can exert is not weaker than that of the white owl, and it is more flexible. The thick barrel was aimed in the direction of Li Changgong, and then spewed out 1 black void bullet after another. The latest material made by E-Metal can maximize Zhang Yi's power, and with the power of the void, the destructive power is amazing. In an instant, a sky full of black void bullets enveloped the world in front of Li Changgong. Li Changgong stared at him. He had already felt Zhang Yi's ability to predict his trajectory. But this was not a problem for him. The speed of his knife was faster than Zhang Yi's bullet speed. The rain of void bullets completely blocked his way forward. The knife in Li Changgong's left hand was finally pulled out with a clang sound. My thoughts all cut. The 2 knives crossed and quickly passed through the air, and dozens of dazzling knife lights condensed into a huge net. And the moment the black void bullet rain touched the huge knife energy grid, Yi's metal bullets and void energy were neatly divided. There was no resistance in front of Li Changgong's double knives. It seemed that nothing could hinder him. Zhang Yi deliberately showed a look of surprise on his face. My power was broken so easily by you? Li Changgong seemed to have felt Zhang Yi's stunned expression from a long distance, and the smile on his face became stronger. In front of my double swords, nothing is indestructible. Only speed can't break. Zhang Yi was weighing the guy in front of him in his heart. My thoughts are all cut, a spatial cutting ability. One of its iconic abilities is that the double swords can cut through everything in the world. A feather, a fortress, an alien. Wherever the blade passes, it is not Li Changgong who cuts, but everything that stands in front of his blade will automatically unravel its molecular structure to avoid his blade. Zhang Yi was not in a hurry. While retreating, the white owl in his hand was like a submachine gun in the hands of Contra, constantly spitting out a rain of bullets. After the Ypsilon realm, the energy in his body reached a terrifying level, and this kind of bombardment and attack method was not a problem for him at all. In Li Changgong's eyes, Zhang Yi's attack was meaningless and was just a waste of time. Nothing can stop me. When my blade goes, everything will be shattered. Right in front of the 2 swords, Li Changgong's murderous aura did not turn, and a huge white blade light broke through the air. It was a powerful spatial force. Wherever it passed, all the power of the void was split in half. The distance between the 2 was also quickly shortened. Zhang Yi retreated again and again, and with a wave of his right hand, a large number of dimensional gates flew towards Li Changgong, completely covering the space around him. One after another, black void tentacles extended from the dimensional gates, like a terrifying multi-legged octopus monster, which contained extremely terrifying destructive power, whipping Li Changgong. Li Changgong did not dodge, but just greeted with 2 swords. I said, your attack of this level is insignificant to me. Wherever the blade went, even Zhang Yi's most proud void power could not stop the rule of I am God's will. The power was not offset or annihilated, but was chopped by the blade and could not hurt Li Changgong's body. At this time, the distance between the 2 had been shortened to 3 kilometers. Seeing this scene, everyone was worried about Zhang Yi. In this battle, everyone thought that Zhang Yi could not win. The huge gap in strength and personal combat quality, Zhang Yi and Li Changgong, a natural general, were too far apart. How could your efforts alone win the accumulation of 5 generations of people? Qin Shigong couldn't help but say, if Go Chen closes the distance, chaos will completely lose the ability to resist. Go Chun has made sufficient preparations for this battle, and Chaos has no chance of winning. He said to Guan Longyue, who was far away in Xingjing, "Get ready to fight. Don't make a killing." Guan Longyue tilted her head and looked at the two people in the field. In her hands, she held two lifelike carved dolls. One was Zhang Yi's, and the other was Li Changgong's. "I don't think it will end so soon," she said lightly. Qin Shigong was a little surprised. "Did you see anything?" An interesting smile appeared on Guan Longyue's cold face. The expression on his face is not what someone who is about to lose would have. Qin Shigong heard this and passed hundreds of satellite images in front of him found Zhang Yi's face. Although he pretended to be surprised, his movements were still frighteningly stable, and there was no panic in his eyes. Chaos. What else does he have? What can allow him to overcome the huge gap of 3,000 points in the Supernatural Power Index and defeat Go Chen? Qin Shigong couldn't help but wonder. In the battlefield, only half a minute actually passed. All of Zhang Yi's attacks were broken by Li Changgong in the simplest way. Nothing can't be chopped in front of his double swords. Whether it's the power of the void or the strongest bullet made of e-metal. In front of absolute power, they all turned into nothingness. However, Zhang Yi was not panicked at all. He himself was not an alien who was good at attacking ability. Defense and fighting a war of attrition were his strengths. Interesting ability, but although I can't find an effective means of attack for the time being, you can't hurt me at all. The distance between the two was 3 kilometers. Zhang Yi had a faint smile on his face, and the world he saw in his left eye was no longer the normal light and shadow, but the trajectory of Li Changgong's actions in the next 2 seconds. All things in the universe. A series of huge dimensional gates blocked Zhang Yi and Li Changgong. Each gate was as huge and magnificent as the gate of Xingjing City. It completely blocked the road between Li Changgong and Zhang Yi. "I bet your knife can't split my dimensional gate," Zhang Yi said lightly. Li Changgong's "My thoughts are all cut" can split all the materials in the world, but the dimensional gate is just a passage between two worlds, not a material existence. It is something in itself empty, so what can be used to split it? Just when Zhang Yi thought that Li Changgong would need to spend a lot of energy to deal with the gate, his figure suddenly disappeared on the spot. Chapter 1152 above you. Li Changgong did not cut the dimensional door. Instead, he disappeared directly from the spot. As a space-based alien, he was much more sensitive to the fluctuation of space than any opponent Zhang Yi had encountered before. The invisible door had a bright shape in his eyes, which was the fluctuation of space. Shwa. He disappeared from the spot. When he appeared again, he had passed through the dimensional door and came behind the door. "Don't forget, I am also a space-based ability user. And my ability is better than yours." Li Changgong looked at Zhang Yi, who was less than 3 kilometers away from him, with a mocking smile in his eyes. Since he dared to fight this battle, he was fully prepared. He also knew that Zhang Yi, who had 13,000 points, could escape from the hands of Kartile, who had 18,000 points, because he mastered the power of space. But Li Changgong didn't care. He believed that the power of space he possessed was better than Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi's pupils shrank slightly. The ability used by Li Changgong was Space Shuttle. But unlike him, Li Changgong did not have any skills similar to the dimensional door, but a very simple teleportation ability. This is one of Li Changgong's abilities, 6 realms without distance. It can cross all obstacles and does not need to use the door to move like Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi frowned slightly, raised his hand, and the dimensional doors piled up like huge fragments scattered in the space, blocking the road in front of him. Li Changgong sneered, and his figure kept flashing in the void like a ghost, avoiding one-dimensional door after another. Such a scene made Qin Shigong and others who were watching the battle gasp. Chaos' most proud escape method is his spatial ability. Now he has met his nemesis. Even if he wants to escape, he can't escape. Jiang Han's eyes lit up with excitement. She certainly hoped that Li Changgong could stand up for her, Qinling and Baihu, and teach Zhang Yi a lesson. At this time, there were actually 2 people following Zhang Yi. One is Jingwei hidden in his shadow, and the other is Yang Xinxin hidden in the Jingwei's space. Yang Xinxin is one of Zhang Yi's killer moves. Her presence can cause unexpected effects at critical moments. But it is obvious that now is not the time to let Yang Xinxin out. Even in most cases, Yang Xinxin can be said to be a finishing move, and it is more suitable to attack at the moment when the opponent's strength is exhausted. At this time, both of them can clearly see the battle between Zhang Yi and Li Changgong. Yang Xinxin's voice sounded in Zhang Yi's ears. "Brother, he knows your ability too well. You can think of a way to hold him back. As long as you give me a chance of 0.1 seconds, I can hit him." Yang Xinxin's ability has also been enhanced, and the control of power, time, and the speed of arrows have all been broken through. As long as it is used well, it is a killer. Zhang Yi brought her with him just in case. Faced with Yang Xinxin's proposal, Zhang Yi quickly responded, "Don't worry, I want to test his bottom again." Yang Xinxin is his killer, and Zhang Yi will not use it easily. After all, this battle was watched by the representatives of the entire Huaxi state. If he asked Yang Xinxin to take action, Qin Shigong might also ask someone to interfere. So Zhang Yi decided to fight by himself first. After all, he knew almost everything about the opponent at this time. The victory or defeat of the battle was a test of the two's combat experience, courage, and a little bit of luck. Li Changgong quickly closed the distance, and Zhang Yi's dimensional gate could no longer stop his progress. But Zhang Yi was not in a hurry at all, but quickly entered the dimensional gate. In a flash, it was 3,000 meters. It was not a plane displacement, but flying towards the sky. Although Li Changgong could also teleport, Zhang Yi saw that he had to land after each teleportation. So he did not master the ability to fly like Zhang Yi. If he could occupy the advantage in space, then Zhang Yi could also be invincible. However, Li Changgong just raised his head when he saw this scene, and then he teleported towards the sky without hesitation. When he appeared in midair, his figure had turned into multiple images due to high-speed movement. Boom! His feet stepped on the air, and a violent roar broke out. Then the whole person rushed towards Zhang Yi in an unimaginable way, stepping on the air. "Do you think you are the only one who can fly?" Flying cloud step. Li Changgong soared into the air strangely. He could compress the matter in the air and use it as his pedal to achieve the goal of ascending to the sky. He slashed fiercely at a distance of 3,000 meters from Zhang Yi. The power of space turned into a dazzling white light, which instantly cut through the vast sky. Sunluo Wanxiang. Zhang Yi opened hundreds of dimensional gates and blocked himself. No matter how powerful the power is, it will be absorbed by his different dimensional space. Zhang Yi can block the attack of Cardials, let alone Li Changgong. However, the moment when hundreds of dimensional gates were opened, Zhang Yi saw a different future, through tracing the trace of all things. The sharp blade light passed through the multiple dimensional gates as if nothing, and then fell on his body. A thin wound appeared on his chest, and blood gushed out from his agile body. His body was cut in half. After coming to his senses, Zhang Yi felt a chill on his back. In a flash, he immediately opened the dimensional gate and teleported 3 kilometers away. In a moment, the sharp blade light really penetrated all his defenses and fell into the air. This knife seemed to have no lethality, and it didn't even tear the floating clouds in the sky, but only Zhang Yi understood how terrible the power of this knife was. Li Changgong's body slowly descended. He could only stay in the air for a short time but couldn't stay in the air for a long time. But when he fell, he looked at Zhang Yi with deep eyes. "My premonition was right. You can predict the future." Li Changgong was extremely regretful about this knife. He had calculated everything. He thought he knew Zhang Yi's ability very well, so Zhang Yi would not dodge this knife. As long as he didn't dodge, he would definitely die. Because I am the will of God, S-space method has another extremely exaggerated method. When he locks on the target, he will gather his strength in one place. The concentrated power can penetrate everything. But everything outside his target will turn into nothingness and cannot block his attack at all. In other words, when his knife locks on Zhang Yi, It will cause a fatal force to Zhang Yi, but it can't cut a light feather. It will only pass through. Therefore, everything that stands between his blade and Zhang Yi cannot become a real obstacle. Chapter 1153 Time versus Space. Zhang Yi's face was full of surprise, but his heart was not too upset, because he already knew about Li Changgong's ability in advance. But knowing is knowing. When it comes to dealing with it, it still makes people feel very tricky. It can cut through all offensive means, and it is also the best defense, because he can also block any physical attack. Ignore all defenses, and strengthen the power of killing the target. Ignore all obstacles, and teleport across space. Zhang Yi had to admit that Li Changgong's strength was too strong. If he fought with courtiers on land, even courtiers might lose to him. And at this time, how can Zhang Yi win? Zhang Yi is not in a hurry. He is still waiting. Wait until the value of Li Changgong's ability is thoroughly understood. Everything in this world can be constructed with data. When a person's data is analyzed clearly, he is like naked. Now, Zhang Yi has basically grasped an important piece of information about Li Changgong. His 6 realms without distance. The displacement distance is only 1 kilometer. Compared with Zhang Yi, he has less steps to open the door. But in terms of displacement distance, it is only 1/3 of Zhang Yi's, because Zhang Yi can set up to 3,000 dimensional gates within a radius of 3 kilometers. Well, let's play with you first. Zhang Yi stopped his attack and chose to set up thousands of dimensional gates in the huge space centered on him. He can freely shuttle between the gates. However, with Li Changgong's movement speed, he can't catch up with Zhang Yi's speed. Li Changgong's speed can't catch up with Zhang Yi, but his knife can. However, the battle has continued until now, less than 2 minutes. Zhang Yi has brought Li Changgong a huge problem. Time. Li Changgong didn't know that Zhang Yi had the ability of the time system, which was more rare and perverted than the space system. No matter how fast his knife was, it would be meaningless if he couldn't cut anyone, but before he drew his knife, Zhang Yi already knew where his blade was going. So, what was the point? Han Shanzhua and others vaguely saw the general idea of the battle between the two. Zhang Yi dodged Li Changgong's attack, even before Li Changgong made a move. Shang Daowen's eyes shone, and he muttered to himself, could it be that chaos not only has the ability of space, but he is also the holder of the dual ability of time and space? Han Shanzhua's eyes changed slightly, and his eyes looking at Zhang Yi on the battlefield became more solemn. If that's the case, this kid is terrible. Guan Longyue, who was watching the battle in the Earth Temple, looked at Zhang Yi, and a strange light gradually appeared in his eyes. It's the dual ability of time and space? 2 extremely rare abilities are concentrated in the same person. His future is immeasurable. On the battlefield, Zhang Yi can shuttle back and forth in the 3,000 worlds. And he also raised his hand and launched a powerful attack. At the beginning, Zhang Yi did not show too much power. He was still testing when attacking, and it was also for disguise. But now that the opponent's ability has been figured out, there is no need for this. Now Zhang Yi's ability index is as high as 15,000 points, and his attack ability has also been greatly improved. 3,000 dimensional gates blocked Li Changgong, and one after another powerful dark tentacles extended from them. The powerful force made everyone watching the battle change color. This kind of power is more than 1 level higher than before. Chaos's strength is definitely not just 13,000 points. Han Shanzhua said loudly. Good guy, he really hides his strength. I said why he dared to accept Li Changgong's invitation to fight. Zhang Yi blocked a piece of heaven and earth, and the power of the void appeared from all directions, and then quickly spread towards Li Changgong. Li Changgong's eyes were full of murderous intent. He held down the long sword with both hands and swung it towards the sky at a speed that was difficult to capture with the naked eye. A series of bright knife lights formed an airtight sphere around him, and then burst out fiercely. All the touched void tentacles were instantly split in half. The dissipated power made the surrounding earth sink into huge pits one after another, silently, making this plane like being hit by a meteorite, full of holes. And Li Changgong's knife did not slow down and went straight to Zhang Yi. The knife light locked Zhang Yi's 3,000 dimensional gates. No matter how fast you are, you can't be faster than my sword. I want to see how many dimensional doors you can cut open. Li Changgong stared at Zhang Yi in the sky, his eyes full of murderous intent. Li Changgong's attack could not be blocked head-on, he could only dodge. And all the dimensional doors had been blocked by his sword, so it was meaningless to use Space Shuttle at this time. At the critical moment, Zhang Yi took a step back into the different space and then completely closed all the doors. The only passage between the different world and the present world was closed, and Li Changgong's attack was in vain. Li Changgong frowned. Is it completely hidden in the void? He held his breath and concentrated, holding the two long swords tightly in his hands. As long as Zhang Yi emerges from the void, his sword will cut him at the first moment. In this battle, he, Li Changgong, must win. He is God's will. Nothing in this world can stop his sword. Zhang Yi's fancy fighting style seemed very clumsy and not worth mentioning to him. Absolute defense. It was just a joke in his eyes. Wherever his blade pointed, nothing could defend. Zhang Yi entered the alien space, and Jingwei and Yang Xinxin also entered. A long time passed in their spiritual world. Yang Xinxin still asked Zhang Yi if she should take action and completely get rid of Li Changgong at one time. Zhang Yi thought about it. Although this was a good suggestion, he still refused. Because with Yang Xinxin's strength, he could only control Li Changgong for a short time. If he didn't want to kill him or turn him into a slave, then short-term control would have no meaning. And the representatives of several major regions acting as referees nearby would not recognize such a result. Don't worry, I already know how to fight him, Zhang Yi said with a smile. On the plain, Li Changgong held two swords in his hands, waiting for Zhang Yi to appear, and then he would draw his swords at the first time. He was fully confident that he could block all of Zhang Yi's paths. 3,000 dimensional gates, are they a lot? It was just a problem that he could solve with a sword in an instant. Everyone held their breath and waited for Zhang Yi to appear. Some people even thought that Zhang Yi had used the method he was most proud of and could only let Li Changgong slaughter him next. However, real masters would not think so. The strength of ability is only part of the conditions that determine victory or defeat. Fighting requires thinking. A few seconds later, high in the sky, Zhang Yi's dimensional gate finally opened. Chapter 1154, Lord of War. The blade in Li Changgong's hand twisted slightly, ready to deliver the most fierce blow to end the battle. In the Earth Temple, Guan Longyue silently held the two puppets in her hands, her eyes never leaving the battlefield. At the critical moment, she would take action to stop Li Changgong, who wanted to kill. However, at the moment when the dimensional door opened, something that stunned everyone and could not be imagined happened. Zhang Yi's figure did not appear in the dimensional door, but some colorful things appeared, falling from the sky, like beautiful butterflies. Qin Shigong widened his eyes, Paja Jesang was stunned, Han Shanzua shouted awesome, Zhang Dawen raised his glasses and sighed, and Suzaka Jianghan's face quickly turned red, secretly scolding Zhang Yi for being dishonest. Because what was flying all over the sky was not something else, but a pile of clothes bought from department stores. Many of them were actually women's underwear. This was the occasion for the duel between the two Ypsilons of Huashu country. It should have been extremely solemn, but this funny scene instantly disturbed the atmosphere. But this unexpected fighting style also made the murderous Li Changgong fall into a state of confusion for a moment. In just such a short moment, a large amount of clothes flying in the air blocked his sight. Zhang Yi appeared from the different space and then immediately opened multiple space shuttles and flew quickly towards the sky. Tracing the tracks of all things can buy him 2 seconds, but for the top strong men, 2 seconds can create countless opportunities to decide life and death. Throwing underwear seems funny, but it is indeed useful. In an instant, Zhang Yi was already more than 10 kilometers away from the ground. Li Changgong reacted immediately and immediately took off into the air, chasing with 6 realms without distance and Fei Yun step. But this time, Zhang Yi already had a way to deal with him. When hiding in a different space, the flow of time is extremely slow, but the consciousness and thinking are still functioning normally. In just 3 seconds, he had enough time to think. Li Changgong, I have almost figured out your ability. Everything can be cut, but everything can be avoided. Everything is false. Everything is allowed. It seems perfect, without any flaws. But I found your loophole. Zhang Yi's mouth curled up, and he saw where Li Changgong's weakness was. That is defense. Even though Li Changgong is a powerful soldier with a strong physique and terrifying attack methods, his skill points seem to be all on offense, and his defense is not good enough. Li Changgong's strength is similar to Zhang Yi's. They all use space-related abilities to pretend to have powerful melee abilities. But his body is still just a mortal body. Without the protection of combat uniforms, a small bullet can take his life. However, the problem is that any attack will be cut by his double swords. Therefore, you only need to make your attack speed faster than the long sword in his hand, and then you will win. Zhang Yi kept increasing the distance, and in a few seconds, he came to more than 10 kilometers above the ground. 10,000 meters high, he looked down at the ground beneath his feet, which was covered in silver. The cold air even caused a thick layer of frost to form on the outside of his combat uniform. Li Changgong was still desperately chasing, but facing Zhang Yi, who was determined to escape, his speed was simply not enough to catch up. And the higher he went, the more he found a problem. The temperature in the air was much lower than the ground. Although the temperature on the ground was already minus 60 or 70 degrees, it quickly dropped to more than minus 100 degrees after reaching the high altitude. His speed began to slow down, frost began to appear on his combat uniform, and the speed of swinging the knife would also be greatly affected. Li Changgong was suddenly shocked. He answered without hesitation. So you are planning to do this? Haha, you underestimate me too much. Li Changgong thought that Zhang Yi was going to take him into the sky and then limit his speed of drawing the knife so as to defeat him. Zhang Yi couldn't hear what Li Changgong said, and he didn't care what Li Changgong was planning, because now he was ready to make a move. Everyone looked up at the sky, wanting to see how Zhang Yi was going to deal with Li Changgong. In the sky, Zhang Yi and Li Changgong were far enough apart. He waved his hand, and the myriad things unfolded around him. There were 3,000 huge dimensional gates, covering the sky and the sun, and extending 10 kilometers. From this gate, countless black metals slowly extended. There were hundreds of thousands of guns and cannons, and even many large-caliber giant cannons that could only be used for city defense. These guns and cannons extended from the dimensional gates at the same time, and the scene shocked everyone. After the end of the world, heavy firearms are not easy to transport, and it is basically difficult to participate in major battles. This is common sense. However, Zhang Yi broke this common sense. Qinling couldn't help but say, "King of War." That's right. Zhang Yi, who has spatial abilities and can carry countless heavy firearms, is a huge legion if he appears on the battlefield. Maybe we should reevaluate his strength. Qinling believes that if we take into account the powerful ability of group battles, Zhang Yi's ability index, it should be improved a bit more. But can this weapon work on Go Chen? Han Shanzhua questioned. It looks awesome, but the most important thing is whether it works. Shang Daowen raised his glasses, his eyes flashing with mystery. Maybe it will be useful. There are no useless abilities or weapons. The key is how you use them. Zhang Yi's approach made Shang Daowen realize the weakness of Li Changgong's ability. On the battlefield, Li Changgong raised his head. When he saw hundreds of thousands of gun muzzles and gun barrels sticking out from the void, pointing at him coldly and ruthlessly, his scalp couldn't help but numb. So many weapons. Where did you get them from? Don't ask, just ask that Zhu Zheng gave them to you. Zhang Yi's right hand pointed at Li Changgong from above, like the gods judging mortals. Taste the feeling of being bombarded by several armies together. As soon as he finished speaking, countless weapons in the sky suddenly made a deafening roar, and then bullets and shells fell from the sky like a rain of fire. There was faint thunder and a gloomy sky. A huge flaming meteor shower completely enveloped the land within a radius of more than 10 miles. The speed of the guns and the effect of gravity caused the ammunition to fall at a high speed. Li Changgong's pupils suddenly shrank. No matter how fast he was, he could not leave the range covered by the rain of fire before all the ammunition fell to the ground. Now the only plan was to draw the sword and fight. Chapter 1155, Skyfire. Facing the endless rain of fire falling from the sky, Li Changgong chose to use the two long swords in his hands to fight hard. He drew his sword as fast as lightning, and the huge sword light formed an airtight net around his body, chopping all the ammunition into pieces. But Zhang Yi, who saw this scene, smiled very happily. Interesting, but the ammunition stored in my alien space is enough to fire continuously for a whole day and night. I want to see how long you can hold on. Around Zhang Yi, the huge artillery army was like a collapse of the sky, pouring out a continuous rain of fire. He has found the weakness of Li Changgong's ability. Although it is not fatal, as long as it is a weakness, it is enough. Although I am the will of heaven, I am powerful and can cut through almost all existence in the material world. But he must concentrate his will on something. Therefore, the material he locked can be easily cut open by him. At the same time, he will virtualize everything outside the target. This was originally a very bug ability. It can ignore all armor and directly kill the opponent's body. However, if this is the case, how should you deal with an attack of 100,000 at any time? Every bullet and shell is real, and he must cut it in the shortest time. Otherwise, even if he is wearing the top combat uniform of Huashu country, how many rounds of bombardment can he withstand? 100 rounds, 1,000 rounds, or 10,000 rounds? Zhang Yi is standing in the sky without consuming any superpowers. All he needs to do is to consume a little bit of insignificant ammunition. For Liu Qian now, he can make as many of those things as he wants. And in this way, Zhang Yi can spend a day and a night here with Li Changgong. No matter how powerful Li Changgong's superpowers are, they are limited after all. Can he withstand such consumption? Li Changgong's hands can't stop at all, because Zhang Yi's attack has not stopped at all. The plains around him have been blown into a sieve, riddled with holes, and the whole land has been sunk several meters. It turned out to be this kind of means it's really difficult. Qin Qigong touched his beard and sighed. It seems that the absolute defense is not in vain. Chaos has hidden his strength, and Go Chun has underestimated his opponent. Jiang Han quietly clenched her fists, and she thought of the battle on Qingdao. Zhang Yi's ability is the most rogue she has ever seen. Even if he faces a much stronger alien than him, he can escape calmly. I thought that this time, with the information she provided, plus Li Changgong's strong strength, he would definitely be able to teach Zhang Yi a good lesson, avenge Baihu, and redeem the shame for the East China Sea region. But I didn't expect that Zhang Yi would become stronger than before in just half a year. She was a little confused. Is it so easy to improve after Epsilon? How could he improve his strength by 2,000 points in half a year? And Li Changgong, can you think of a way to deal with it? Jiang Han looked at the battle scene in the projection. Li Changgong faced Zhang Yi's attack with a firm expression, without the slightest embarrassment. This offensive seems very fierce, but for him, it is completely resistible. However, he is not a perpetual motion machine. How many rounds can he block? Others use guns and cannons. He uses double swords. If he keeps fighting like this, even gods can't stop him. Zhang Yi stood high in the sky, although it seemed that he had the advantage at this time, but Zhang Yi was not careless at all. He had locked Li Changgong tightly with the ability of tracing all things. He wanted to wear Li Changgong to death bit by bit, bit by bit. Li Changgong, what other means do you have to fight back next? Zhang Yi said secretly in his heart. Li Changgong's body was still upright under the rain of fire, but his eyes were obviously much more serious. It's not that easy to wear me to death with this methods. The double swords in his hands danced like phantoms. Although there were many ammunitions fired at him, Zhang Yi wanted to expand the coverage area, so the ammunition that actually fell in front of Li Changgong was only a few hundred per second, and he could completely block it. However, this is not a small problem. Li Changgong is a fierce man, but he is not fierce enough to chop bullets with a knife. The reason why he can do this is because he continues to activate the ability of I am God's will. This power, which could have split a mountain and killed a top-notch alien, was now used to chop bullets and shells. It was just like using an anti-aircraft gun to shoot a mosquito, a sheer waste of his power. Moreover, the offensive was endless, and he couldn't even stop to rest. This was also one of the biggest weaknesses of I am God's will. The single attack was almost invincible, but the group attack ability was very weak. Li Changgong knew that he couldn't continue like this. Otherwise, he would be killed by Zhang Yi's rogue style of play sooner or later. While Li Changgong was fighting back, he used 6 realms without distance to try to avoid Zhang Yi's attack. However, under the lock of tracing of all things, no matter where he fled, Zhang Yi could find his position in the first place. In the gloomy sky, there was a fiery red, as if thousands of layers of clouds were swept away, and a huge sea of fire appeared. The fire rain tilted with the wind, and this gust of wind was Zhang Yi's eyes, and the landing point of the fire rain was the direction of Li Changgong's escape. Li Changgong tried to escape many times, but was always captured by Zhang Yi in the first time. 6 realms without distance, teleport 1 kilometer at a time. Space shuttle 3 kilometers at a time. As long as Zhang Yi is willing, he can lock him without any effort, leaving him nowhere to escape. After several entanglements, Li Changgong also realized this. There is no point in continuing to escape. If he delays, he will definitely be exhausted to death first. He raised his head and looked up at the sky, and endless fire rain fell one after another, like the destruction of the world. A fierce look flashed in Li Changgong's eyes. If you can't hide, then break through head-on. In midair, Zhang Yi launched an offensive against Li Changgong in an orderly manner. In his alien space, there is an arsenal of most of Blizzard City, which was once the largest weapons warehouse in the entire Jiangnan region. There were so many weapons stored inside that it was hard to count them. In order to win over Zhang Yi and to dispose of most of the heavy weapons that had a very low cost-effectiveness after the end of the world, Zhu Zheng gave them all to Zhang Yi. Unexpectedly, they fell into Zhang Yi's hands and turned into extremely terrifying weapons of mass destruction. Zhang Yi operated them very regularly. He had asked Liu Karen to help him prepare the automatic loading equipment. This simple mechanical device was very easy for Liu Karen today. Every half a minute, he would replace a batch of new weapons to prevent the barrels and gun barrels from overheating and causing loss. This ensured that there would be no gaps in the attack on Li Changgong. He just wanted to force Li Changgong into a dead end so that this pretentious child of aristocratic family could taste the taste of failure. Thanks for staying tuned. Please subscribe if not already.